Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are from Group 2. Today we will present about exporting, importing, and global sourcing. Before that, let me introduce our team. First, my name is Hazratul Sabila. The next member is Kartika Alvira, Sri Masayu, and Moralisa.
The subject matter in this chapter are: first, understanding export, purpose and benefit of export, export type, export provisions, and example of export. Second, understanding import, purpose and benefit of import, import types, import provision, and example of import. Third, how to do decrease import or increase export, stage in the export and import process. Fourth, understanding global sourcing, a good global sourcing strategy.
Okay, I will explain about understanding exporting. Exporting is defined as the sale of products and services in foreign countries that are sold or made in the home country. This activity is often carried out by companies with small to large-scale business as the main strategy to compete in international trade. With a small end-user capital, companies often do export because they have quick lower rates, depending on the method of implementation. Import led to an outflow of funds from the country since import transaction import payments to sellers residing in other countries. Okay, next, purpose and benefits of export. The destination and benefits of export are follows. First, growing domestic industry. Export is trading activity within the international scope, which is carried out to provide a stimulus to domestic demand, so as to be able to give birth to other bigger industries. The increases in export demand for a product will have a direct impact on industrial development in a country, so this will be able to create a more conducive business climate. Okay, number 2. Controlling product prices. Export activities in a country will enable that country to take advantage of the overcapacity of a product. Thus, the country will be able to control the prices of export products that occur in the country. Why? Because when a product can be produced easily and evenly, the domestic product will definitely have a fair price. For this reason, the state must export to other countries that need the product more so that the state is able to control prices in the market. And the last, number 3. Aiding foreign exchange. Export activities will certainly have a positive impact on economic development in a country. The benefits of export activities are to open up new market opportunities abroad in an effort to grow investment, expand the domestic market, and increase foreign exchange in country. Okay, next, export type. There are 2 types of export are follows. First, direct export, namely the activity of selling goods or services from intermediaries in other countries or export destination countries. Such are made through the company sales representative or distributors. The advantage of direct export is the production is centralized in the country of origin and control over distribution can be enticing. The drawback is that transportation costs are higher for large-scale product, plus trade barriers exist. Next, indirect export. It is a trading technique where the goods are sold through intermediaries in the country of origin and then the goods are sold by intermediaries. Sales are made through export management companies and export trading companies. The advantage of indirect export is that production results are concentrated in one place without being directly imported. The weakness is the lack of control over the distribution and knowledge of operational activities in other countries.
D. Export provision. The general provision in export usually include matters relating to the process of sending goods abroad. This provision include 1. Export term. A. Have a trading business permit (SEUP). B. Obtain a business license from a technical ministry or non-departmental government agency. C. Have an export license such as 1. APA Export Identification Number for investment for 5 years. 2. APS Temporary Export Identification Number. This for 2 years. 3. APAT Limited Export Identity Number. 2. Must be an exporter. Exporters are entrepreneurs who can export, who already have SEU or business license. 3. Registered exporter is a company that has received recognition from the Minister of Trade to export certain goods in accordance with applicable regulation. 4. Export goods. Exporter goods are types of goods registered as export goods and in accordance with the provision of taxation and customs which are ready. A. Example of export in Indonesia. For example, rubber and its product. Rubber plants were cultivated in Indonesia in 1876. Natural rubber production in Indonesian reaches 2.1 per year, the second largest in the world after Thailand. Natural rubber production in Indonesia reaches 3.2 million tons per year, the second largest in the world after Thailand. The processed product of rubber plants that are exported can be in the form of rubber latex, rubber sheets, chunks, tram rubber, as well as derivative products, namely tires and components. The export target countries for Indonesian rubber products include Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Singapore, Brazil, Germany, India, the Netherlands, Turkey, Argentina, France, Spain, Belgium, Italy, Taiwan, Australia. One of Indonesia's well-known trademarks in foreign market is GT Radial, a car tire manufacturer that started its product expansion in Middle Eastern, Asia and American country in 1983. Another domestic labor for exporting tire product is Chile, with the largest market in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, Europe, and America. Okay, point F. Understanding importing. Importing refers to buying goods and services from foreign sources and bringing them back into the home country. The import process in general is an activity of goods or commodities from other countries into the country. In each process, the import of goods intervenes from customs in the sending or receiving country. Export leads to an inflow of funds to the seller's country since export transaction involves selling domestic goods and services to foreign buyers.
Purpose and benefits of imports. As discussed above, import activities have the main objective of meeting domestic needs. This export and import activity is a form of communication and cooperation in each country. At least, there is one thing that must make the country build good relations with other countries to meet all its needs, such as in economic activity. Meanwhile, another objective of this import activity is to increase the balance of payments and reduce foreign exchange outflows in other countries. For its own benefits, import activities will increase the potential of a country in obtaining raw materials, goods, and services in certain types of products which are limited in number or cannot be produced domestically. So, it will be able to indirectly support the stability of the country. Import provisions. Provisions covering import activities usually include matters relating to the process of sending goods into the country. 1. These provisions include A. Import terms have import permits such as: First, API or Import Identification Number. For general importers, applies as long as the company runs its business. Second, APIS or Temporary Import Identification Number, valid for a period of 2 years and cannot be extended. Third, APIS, producers for companies outside PMA or PMDN. The last is APIT, or Limited Import Identification Number, for PMA or PMDN companies. 2. Requirements for obtaining APIS. A. Have a SIUP for medium and large companies. B. Have expertise in import trade. C. Reference from foreign exchange bank. D. Proof of tax liability or NPWP. 3. Requirements for obtaining an API. A. Must have APIS. B. Has carried out imports at least 4 times and has reached a nominal value of US $100,000. C. Never reneging on import contracts. 4. Must be an importer. Importers are entrepreneurs who can carry out trade activities by importing goods from abroad into the Indonesian customs area in accordance with the applicable regulations. The importer category include: A. General importers, registered producers. B. Producer importers. C. Single agent. 5. Imported goods. All types of goods are registered as imported goods and are in accordance with applicable tax and customs regulations. Example of imports by Indonesia. One example of import activities carried out by Indonesia is importing fuel oil. Fuel oil is, of course, an important product, where this product has become one of the needs of the people in Indonesia. Indonesia is actually one of the countries that has quite a lot of petroleum reserves. However, Indonesia has not been able to process it into fuel oil that is already for consumption by the public. So, Indonesia continues to export this fuel. The fuel oil imported by Indonesia is obtained from oil-producing countries, including Saudi Arabia, African countries, Malaysia, Thailand, and Mediterranean countries. How to decrease imports or increase exports? 1. Taxes and quotas. Governments decrease excessive import activity by imposing tariff and quotas on imports. The tariff make importing goods and services more expensive than purchasing them domestically. Imposing tariff in one way a country can work to improve its balance of trade. 2. Subsidies. Governments provide subsidies to domestic business in order to reduce their business costs. This helps bring down the price of domestic goods and services, hopefully encouraging customers to buy domestic rather than imported goods by enabling domestic producers to produce goods less expensively and thus lower their prices. Subsidies may also increase export as the cheaper goods become attractive to foreign buyers. 3. Trade agreements. Sometimes, countries ensure a regular flow of international trade, like volume of both imports and exports, by entering into a trade agreement with other countries. Such agreements are aimed at stimulating trade and economic growth for both countries involved. Trade agreements typically focus on the exchange of different types of products. For example, the US might enter into a trade agreement with Japan, where Japan agrees to buy a certain amount of American-made automobiles in exchange for the US increasing its importance of Japanese rice. 4. Currency devaluation. Another method of increasing exports and decreasing imports is by devaluing the domestic currency. Governments devalue their currency with the aim of bringing down the prices of domestic goods and services, the ultimate goal being to increase net export. The currency devaluation also makes purchasing from other countries more expensive, thus discouraging imports.
Okay, I'm Hazratul Sabila will present about stage in the export and import process. The first step is exporting. We're looking for co-partner abroad. It can be done by looking for information at the Kadinda, Panjatabda, or regional permanent work permit always at the provincial level. See reference from other exporter and direct contract. The next step is create a sales contract as a commitment that has been agreed orally stated in written form. And things that must be considered in the preparation of sales contract include the selling price of goods. The third step is transferring, namely exporter truck, land transportation service, or organ entrepreneur sending export commodity from the owner's warehouse to the warehouse. Fourth, loading, which is the activity of accumulating goods in the warehouse. The last is negotiation. Okay, the next presentation is about understanding global sourcing. In your mind, what do you think about understanding global sourcing? Yes, global sourcing is a procurement strategy used by business when goods and services are sourced from the global market. Underline, strategy used by business from the global market. The goals of global sourcing is the lower production cost while maintaining the exacting quality standard. Underline quality standard. Quality standard required for products and service. Underline quality standard for product and service. Another K is the value pricing. Quality and deliverability is sustainable for the long term. A good global sourcing strategy. The strategy are as follows. Number 1, cost. The main purpose of product sourcing strategy is to take advantage of lower labor costs in foreign country. 2, laws. The sourcing specialist, together with the supplier, should consider which body of law shall be applied to their contractual agreement. proprietary currency. Some buyer may insist on transaction in their own currency for the sake of simplicity. For lead time, global forecasts have a significantly longer lead time than domestic sources. 5. Culture and language. Where the procurement agent is unfamiliar with the culture and language of the supplier, the risk of misunderstanding, miscommunication, and outcry. The next is transportation, where domestic sourcing use of a single mode of transportation and global sourcing use multiple modes of transportation. The last, method of payment. In global sourcing, letter of credit is used for a payment, which the cooperation of the bank of the supplier and buyer.